Okay, so our focus would be on how to actually enter a trade on a trending market. You know, in our last class, we actually established that there are three places we can look for a buy in an uptrend. And I also explained that there are three places we could sell in a downtrend. We said we buy at the support areas or every resistance that became a support, meaning the resistance still became a support, meaning we are still buying at the support zone or around the lower trend line area, right? So, in other words, the same thing for a downtrend. The downtrend, you want to sell at a resistance, or we say we could sell at a support that became resistance, which I said another name for that is a swing point, or we could be selling around the upper resistance. So since we've identified these areas where we could be buying or selling, now if you're now looking at an uptrend, how do you eventually enter the trade? So number one step is, as a beginner, when you want to trade an uptrend, first of all, you need to be sure that you're looking at an uptrend. All you need to do is go on the daily time frame. At least for now, you can still stick to the daily time frame. But you know, the more you get better, I'll tell you, start from the weekly time frame. You know, just like when you want to drive a car as a beginner, they'll tell you, oh, maintain speed level 40 to 60 so you are safe. But you know, the more you get better at driving, you can't keep driving for 6 months and you're getting better and then you maintain that speed 40, 60. No, automatically, you yourself will know that I can now increase my speed limit. The same thing. So when we say at least start from the daily, is like because you're still a beginner. When I want to trade, I start as early as the weekly time frame to see what happened last week. So if the trend I'm looking at on the weekly is saying uptrend, definitely it's going to supersede the daily, right? So, but for now, we are saying start from the daily time frame. Anytime you want to trade, if even if I'm going to be trading in the next something minutes, I'm going to check the daily. What is the daily time frame? Meaning every candle I'm seeing on that daily time frame took a day to form, took 24 hours. So if I go on the daily time frame and I see that the market is in an uptrend, how will I know it's in an uptrend? It's simple. Because that market kept going higher and higher, kept creating another buy move that was higher than the previous buy move. So once I see that, okay, it has been going up, and I could tell that it's an uptrend, what I will look for next is where, because the rule says back support, remember, or the rule also says you can back the resistance that became a support. So if I did not join that market from the beginning, meaning that trend has been going on before, then I'll be looking for a resistance that became support or around the lower trend line. So what I would do is if I see an uptrend, I will try to mark the way I taught you to mark that your trend line. Look for all the buy moves, impulsive moves. Just mark your horizontal zones, connect your trend line. By the time you do that, you will see the zone that you have marked where the market broke out last from on that daily time frame. Now, when you see that zone, of course, the zone has a price. Remember that when you mark, you put those two horizontal line or it's a box area, you can see the price around the box or the lines that you put. Maybe it's between 1.250 to 1.255. That's like your range. That was the last resistance where the market broke out from on that your daily. But it's not, it does not come back there. Remember when there is a breakout of a range, the way I taught us, maybe the market broke the resistance to the upside. I said it's always better to wait for a retest, is it not, before you join? So this way, so because the market broke out of that resistance on the daily time frame, you are now waiting at that same zone for the market to retest. Sometimes the market would have retested once and it's still coming back to that same zone. That's where we said likely that it has not retested. But let's say it broke out there from last, it has not retested. I will not jump in the buy at the top. Your goal is not to buy high, it's to buy low, is it not? So I've established that the price is 1.250 to 255. I'm just using that as an example. That's the zone I saw daily. I will now remove that my daily trend line and I'll go to my 84 charts now. That same price I saw on daily, that same zone, the horizontal lines are still there. that's where I will be waiting to buy on H4. Are we together? The H4, the price is not going to change to that same price I saw on daily. That's the same price I'm going to be working with on H4. The only difference is when I now go on H4, I could now still connect my H4 trend line very well, adjust the zones very well to see clearly. And I won't just jump in the buy. Let's say the market was now retesting, it sold into that zone where you've been waiting to buy. I won't just jump in the buy immediately. I prefer to see what we call a confirmation candle that tells me buy. Of course, I always tell people there are two ways to trade the market. You can be aggressive or you can be conservative. What does being aggressive mean? Aggressive means the moment the sellers came into that price zone without waiting for a confirmation candle, you jump in and buy, right? The advantage of that is that you will get a lower price. But sometimes, remember that resistance can turn to support, support can turn to resistance. If the sellers' momentum that came into that zone were very strong, they can break that support and then they keep going down. Meaning, if they keep selling, you that jumped in the buy without waiting for a confirmation, the market will hit your stop loss. But if you're patient, right, and you let sellers get into the zone, because it's now a confirmed support, and that's where buyers always want to buy around the support. Buying momentum will come into the market. And how will you know? By the candle, the confirmation buy candle that closes above that zone. As long as it closes above that zone, it's like saying that buyers have now taken over. So when the confirmation candle closes, you can now enter for the buy. That way is like saying you wanted to be more sure. This way, it saves you the risk of losing money when you trade. Do you understand? And trust me, I'll tell you, it's always better to be conservative than aggressive. Aggressive will make you feel like you're gonna miss out. Meanwhile, 70% of the time, that aggressive one would always eat people's stop loss, even if the market might end up buying later. So it pays to be conservative, wait to see a confirmation candle, and then join the buy. So that by the time you're buying, you know that it was because of this buy candle I saw sitting on top of this zone that made me buy. Definitely my stop loss would be below that candle or below the zone, just a little bit away from the zone. It's like saying anything that makes the market reverses below why you are buying in the first place, then there's every likelihood that that market is no longer buying. That's why your stop loss is below that zone. Do we understand? So, and of course, I didn't mention this in the note, but now take your TP. It's simple. Profits could now be based on, where is the next upper zone once I join this buy? Based on market structure, you can now set your TP. Meaning, if I'm buying at this zone, I want to go to the next zone to take my profits. Do you understand? That's for how to trade the uptrend. Now, going to the downtrend is still the same rule. In the downtrend, we're always looking for resistance to sell, right? So I go on the daily time frame. I check, this market looks as if it's going down. Good. I will mark out the resistance or meaning the beginning of all the sells. Connect my trend line. Why it's important for you to connect your trend line is so that you can know if the market is still within your trend. Once you've seen that, okay, this thing is still a downtrend, you now also check, is the price around the upper trend line, or where was the last support that it broke that became a resistance that this market has not come back to retest? Once you see where it broke, that the market has not come back to retest, that is where you want to buy or sell. All you need to do is just mark out with those your two horizontal lines or with a box, mark out that zone. Whatever price is within that range, you're waiting for the market to come back there. You are not jumping in like other people. No, you want to buy sell eyes, So you are waiting for the market to come back. It's like saying market broke that support that became a resistance once. It's like they've scored once. You want them to come back and rescore a second time, meaning you're waiting for the retest of that zone. So once you've seen that price on the daily time frame, that same price you saw on daily, now go to the H4 charts, right? On the H4 time frame, remove the trend line you drew on daily. Redraw your H4. right? Align it very well again to be sure that, okay, you place the zones very well. Wait in that zone for a sell confirmation candle, so that by the time the place is retested, if a candle closes below your resistance zone, that tells you sell. When you're seeing a confirmation candle that says sell, then you can enter your sell confidently. So in that scenario, that retest is also like a range that broke. You know, a range, if it breaks to the downside, we say wait for a retest and then join the sell. It's still the same thing. So because you're selling, of course, your stop loss will be above the zone. It's like saying if buyers push the zone, market back inside or above that your sell area, then it means market wants to keep going up. It's no longer selling but buying. That's why your stop loss will be a little bit above the zone or a little bit above the confirmation candle while you were selling in the first place. Do you understand? And then you'll take profit because you're selling. You expect the market to keep going down. So you just go for the next zone below and see where the market is most likely going to stop. So all those things I just explained are just theoretical. I want us to if you're still together, drop a 1 on this box. Drop a 1 on the chat box. I think Anna is no longer on the call. Just free chat.
I'm still here. I'm still listening.
I said if you're still together, drop a 1 on the chat box. Let me know the last thing you heard. Mr. Richard, are you here? Okay, good. So now let me do, I've seen your one. I think my network went off at some point. What was the last thing you heard, Mr. Richard?
Yes. The retest.
Okay, the retest. Okay, so I just said wait for the retest of the sell zone, right? And that the market, once a sell confirmation opens or closes below your resistance, you join the sell. But all those things I've said, I want us to do a practical of it. It's not just enough to explain theoretically. So just a moment. I'm gonna be sharing my screen now. Oh, let me make myself first. Hold on. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So if I should ask you, what do you think is happening right now? We're on a daily time frame. Can you guess? Although I've not taught you this. Where is the market presently? Any idea, Mr. Richard?
This Kirugi market.
What do you think the market is doing present? Remember, the first step is to either determine whether it's on an uptrend or a downtrend if you want to trade a trending market.
Yes.
So do you think, which one do you think we have?
This is an uptrend. It's an uptrend. But at the tail end, like it's ranging.
Good. At the tail end, it's ranging. Not only did it range, it even left your trend line. Now that's a strong message. It's like saying this market has broken out of our daily zone, daily trend, and that can lead to a possible reversal. But it has not fully reversed yet. But let's say for the purpose of this class, I'm trying to see if this example will suffice. We can't really use this because the market is not trending yet. But if I was doing this based on, I'm trying to see. Okay, let me for another example so that we'll not be confused. Let me see if we have a chart size. At the moment, most of the market are ranging. Okay, let me see if I can do something. Oh, great. You might still be able to manage this. It's uptrend, right?
But it's looking choppy at the tail end. Look at those wicks.
At the top, you mean?
Yes, at the tail end, like looking like shopping, a shopping market.
Okay, at the bottom. Okay, good. But yeah, right.
No. At the tail end, the last candle.
At the
We
top,
check those
yeah.
last candles. Yes.
Okay, good. We are still coming. But before that, it looked as if this market was moving up, trending up. Is it
Yes,
not?
uptrend, yes.
Good. So if I wanted to trade this uptrend, in an uptrend, we are supposed to focus on the impulsive move, which is a buy. Is it not?
Yes.
It doesn't mean you can't trade pullback, but you're doing so at owner's risk.
Yes.
So this is, I'll look at this. Okay, the market broke this zone. Can you see the first zone I marked out? That's 1860. But did you notice that I did not really retest that zone? True or false?
So
retest means sellers to come back to the good.
So it just kept
this kind
going
of market is still not complete. Great. Okay, so I've seen one zone here. Another one. Let me see if there's another. Yes. There was another swing point here. Swing point was a resistance that became support.
Yes.
Do you agree?
It broke a little, yeah.
It broke. Now, when it broke here, can you see it came back to retest this one?
Exactly.
Then it continued again. Good. After it continued, there was another struck zone here. I'm going to mark that again. This.
Yes.
Good. And let me see, the zone is all up to here. So looking at this daily, that last zone was the major one where the market broke out from last and has not come back to retest. It has not gotten there yet. So if I wanted to join this buy, this zone, this price zone, which was the last, is where I look to join. Right? I've established because of the daily. But this, somewhere later in the future, the market can still weak here. Right? I don't want to go in this so as well, because this was broken and it did not retest. Market might later still come down, but for now, this is the last major resistance that became a support.
It's support.
And if you notice my moving average line is this two, this line that is going up. Like that, there are other confluence factors you can use. This is one. Can you see it's also waiting inside that zone I marked? Can you see?
Yes.
That's the best place to buy. So I won't go and jump in and buy at this top. No. I will tell the market to pull back inside the zone
and buy.
In other times, can even hold on, sir. I'll take your question. You can even connect your trend line sometimes. You've marked out some buy areas. You connect your trend line to see if where you mark is closer to the lower trend line. The lower trend line is another area where we want to buy. I want to adjust this. Because it's not really a perfect or a neat trend. Okay, good. So it will still fly. Can you see now that the zone we've marked the price is also touching the lower trend line. Can you see this lower trend line?
Yes.
It passed. Can you see the lower trend line at the bottom of it? So if this market comes here into this zone, it can range. If this trend line still move, and you notice that where that trend line is still on the same price line you marked. Can you see? So that's like for me 2 factors of confluence why I would join that buy. Now I will now remove my daily trade because right now the market is selling, right? My
Yes.
own goal is to buy. I've established that the price area where I want to buy is between that 23.200 to 23.500 plus area. That's the one where the arrow is pointed. I will now change to H4.
H4.
On
Okay.
H4, good. On H4, the same price. Can you see? The 2 lines are still marked. That zone is still marked. Can you see?
Yes. Yes.
So, good. That's still where I wait to buy. On H4 now, I might now be able to see what is the market doing clearly. On H4, if you look at it closely, you can see that it's now ranging, is it not? It's moving
Yes.
side. So it might
Yes.
likely push down into that same zone, which is now like a support. I could now connect a trend line also on H4 and adjust that zone very well. Once I do that, that's where I'll be waiting to buy.
Okay.
So I connect to wait for a buy candle, although we've not gotten to candlesticks. By the time we get to candle patterns, you will now know the kind of candles you want to see before you join the buy. Remember, I said you can be conservative. Some people will not wait to see a buy candle, they'll jump in once the market comes in there. Now, this is the idea. Because you buy, you want the market to keep going up. So,
Yes.
meaning if the market comes and close below this your zone, it's no longer going up. So your stop loss should be somewhere just below that zone. You can just give it a little bit of space. In fact, I would always look for a big candle like this. If it's around that zone, I'll put my stop loss below that big candle. Right?
Okay.
Exactly. That would make money meter is like an order block. So I'll put it below. Then my take profit. If I'm buying from this zone, I'm just looking again. Where is the next zone? Some people place the buy maybe 1, 2, 3 times. Meaning, if the market comes here, they will eat BTC USD buy once, BTC USD buy two, as they will buy it like 3 times immediately when they see their confirmation candle. So they can now say, okay, for the first one that they clicked buy, they are going to go for the first TP, that's TP1. So I'll just look up after the market moves from here. Where was the next one? There's a very small zone around here. Use this zone as their TP1. That's their first profit target. They can now say, okay, after that one, where is the next one again? Can you see the one here?
Yes.
Right? They'll use that as their next TP2 for the second trade.
Okay.
If they want to go for TP3, the market has not passed here presently.
Yes.
But in the past, it would have passed. So all you need to do is look to the left in the past to see what was the highest the market got to above that 25,197. That was the last you saw on H4. I can now go on daily to see better, to see above that zone very well. This 225. I can now shrink my screen, look to the left in the past. When the market went past this 250 something, I could see that there was another zone right here. Can you see to the left? Everything has happened fast. There's another zone here around 26. Good. I can now set my TP3 at that 26 point something. Exactly. But then what I always tell people is anytime you set profit 1, profit 2, 3, the market will get to TP1 first. Right? And if it's nice, it gets to TP2. TP3, my people will say sometimes could be a shade. Do you understand? Especially a very patient trader, you could wait for that. But first, secure the ones that get to TP1, TP2. That's how to trade. Start from the daily, that price you saw on daily, mark it out, go there on H4, wait for a candle that tells you buy or sell. Exactly. The same thing for the downtrend. So do you have a question? I think I have another sentence.
What I wanted to ask is what you have answered. When you said that time that that you want to that, let's what about we being conservative, and you made mention of that your explanation.
Okay.
That was a point that you said you wait and not buy at that point. I was trying to say, what if the market is at that point? So where does conservative now come in play? But you made mention of that in the explanation.
Okay,
So I'll go with
okay.
that.
By the time you're good, because if the market reverse, because we're conservative and waiting for a confirmation candle, automatically
Yes.
you have nothing to lose. Because let's say this market sold now. You know there is still a level here that it did not retest, that we are certain at the bottom. Market can decide to start going there and want to go and retest. But
Exactly.
because you did not jump in when it came here, you meaning that if it was selling and breaking down, it kept selling, meaning you have not seen a candle that said buy. So you did not, because it kept selling. That way it will not hit your stop loss. And by the time the candle closes below that zone, you automatically know that, oh boy, this market ain't buying now. So you can now decide to join the sell if it closes below that zone. Do you understand? That's conservative else. All right, sir. So I'm going to give you an assignment. And what's the assignment? Go on the charts, look for an uptrend, downtrend, mark out the last major support or resistance that you feel this is where the market will buy. Then go on H4 and take a trade around there. I know I've not taught you candlestick, but still take a trade on your demo account. Let's see if it plays out. When we get to candle, now perfect our entries on that.
So I should do 1-1, right?
You should do, yes, you should do 1-1. So what I'll do, Anna, I will send you this recording because you came late, but the explanation was very, very simple. Anyone could understand. All right. So when you finish watching the video, Anna, you too, you will do the assignment. All right. Thank you, guys. See you on Thursday. Have an amazing day. Bye.